Hello and welcome to today's lessons, which will be on projection. Projection is the process of converting your points onto their correct map positions. More on projections, you'll deal with that in cartography or in our theory class, depending on whichever comes first. So we've learned a couple of things since we started this webinar series. First thing we did was data input or data entry using Microsoft Excel, and then after that I took you through importation of that same data into ArcMap. So after importing that data, you have immediately after importing, we said it is good that you export the data into shapefile format. So after exporting to shapefile format, now assuming that you already have a database in place, then you need to project your data. And speaking of databases, something I forgot to mention in our database class was this, that whenever we create a new feature or create a new file in ArcMap, all your data will be stored in a database. So we need a default database, a database that whenever we create something, it will usually be stored inside that database. So it is this database that we created that will be our default database. So how do we make it our default database? You go to your catalog if it is visible. If it is not visible, like I said, you go to Windows and then you activate catalog. So once your catalog opens up, under your folder connections, locate where your topo mapping folder is. For me, it is located inside desktop. So I'm just going to click on my database and then right click on it, and then you select make default geo database. So after doing that, now you can begin projection. But how do you do that? How do you approach this task called projection? You need this set of tools called ArcToolbox, usually denoted by this green briefcase, red briefcase. So once you click on this red briefcase, it will reveal all of these set of toolbox. You can see it is called the toolbox, and if this icon is not visible, then it means one of these toolbars is not active. So how do I activate it? I go to customize my toolbars, and I check if my standard toolbar is active and my tools toolbar is active. If I choose to deactivate this one, then you see my icon for ArcToolbox and all the other tools related to ArcToolbox completely disappear. So I need to make sure that all of these tools are active. So make sure the standard toolbar is active and the tools toolbar is also active. Another thing you're supposed to check, you check to ensure that all your extensions are enabled. These extensions, if some of them are disabled, then you won't be able to perform some tasks in ArcMap. So make sure you select all of these ones, make sure all of them are checked. You can close afterwards. So we go to the main subject for the day. So once your toolbox opens, you have to locate where your projection tools are found. For a beginner, it may seem very difficult, and if you find it very difficult locating the specific location of the tool you want to work with, you can always use the search window. Again, how do you activate the search window? You go to Windows, click on search. In this case, I want to search for a tool that does projection. So I'm just going to type project, and then I enter. It will reveal these options. There is a tool called projection under where data management tools. When I click on it, and just wait a bit, it will bring up this kind of dialog box. This dialog box is the one you use to assign a projection to your layer. So usually there are two sets of tools here that you use in projection. There is this one just called project, and then there is another one still under data management called define projection. So if your layer doesn't have any projection associated with it, then first of all you have to define the projection before you project. How do you know your layer has a projection or not? You right click on the layer, go to its properties. When you click on properties, it will reveal another dialog box with a number of options, too many options or just enough. When you click on it, you'll see you need to go under source if you want to inquire if your layer has a coordinate system. When you click on source, you find anything on coordinate system. You see my layer has a coordinate systems assigned to it. Okay, but the problem with this one is I just defined a projection. You need to define a projection before you project, especially for a layer that doesn't have any projection associated with it. So first thing you do, you open your toolbox, you locate where define projection is, you double click to open it, and then here you'll specify your layer that you want to assign a projection to. With mine, I can't do that. You see what it is telling me is the dataset already has a projection defined. Click for more detailed information. So my dataset already has a projection. But in your case, since you'll be coming with draw data from the field work and it won't have any projection, the first thing you need to do is define projection. You click on here, come here, select your layer, and then navigate to this icon. Once you click on this icon here that looks like a book, it will open another dialog box. This dialog box usually has two sets of coordinate systems: geographic coordinate systems and projected coordinate systems. When mapping, we usually prefer to work with projected coordinate systems, so I'll expand this option. Click on plus to expand it, and then after doing that, you expand UTM. You click on plus to expand UTM, and then you go again here to WGS 1984. In this case, WGS 1984 is what we call an ellipsoid. Each projection has an ellipsoid, and each projection has a coordinate system. So inside an ellipsoid, you use an ellipsoid to define a projection, and then inside a projection you have some parameters and some mathematical transformations and computations that are done by the computer to assign a coordinate system. So click on this to expand this one. Then once you reach here, you need to know where is my site located. In this case, our resource is located in the northern part of the equator, so that is the northern hemisphere. Some parts of the country are located below the equator, that is the southern hemisphere. So I go expand on my northern hemisphere, and then I find where UTM zone 36 north is. 36 is what we call zone in coordinate systems, and then N stands for the hemisphere. In this case, it is the northern hemisphere. So 36 means this portion of the world is located between 36 degrees east of the Greenwich meridian and 42 degrees east of the Greenwich meridian. So I select this one, that is where the source is located, and then I OK, and then after doing that, I'll come and OK here. After doing that, defining the projection, then you can now completely project your data. How do you do that? Click on project, and then you come here, select, use this drop down arrow, you select your points, and then after doing that, we need to change the name here. So I'm going to change the name of my projected points. After projection, I want them to be called points, so I'll change the name to points. And then the coordinate system here, So what is it telling me? Points already exists. The points layer already exists. So I'm going to change this to maybe something like, I'm going to call it point features. And then the output coordinate system, I'm going to select this. Once I define a projected projection for any of these layers, now they'll become visible in underneath layers. So I'll select this one, okay, and then okay again. So once the runs, you will see a new layer is created here called point features. Now I have projected my points. These ones I can remove them at this point, and then I can save my work. Thank you for paying attention. Let's meet next time for another lesson, and it will be a continuation from what we've done today.